everyone. Tina Spalding Trance Channel here again. This is going to be number 6 in the Ascension series. Let's see what Jesus has to say. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. You are beginning to feel the pressure building. We have been saying this for a long time. Pressure, change, transformation. These are pervasive and global at this time. It is hard for you to really know what other people are feeling, but we will say they are feeling just like you. There are many, we will say, balls up in the air that have not yet landed, that you don't know what is going to happen. This is the worst case scenario for the ego. The ego is fearful. The ego wants things to be predictable. The ego mind wants survival to be the most important thing. Now, you've got to understand here that the ego mind is directly related to the physical survival of your body. When you pass over into the next realms, when you transcend, when what you call die, or our dear one likes to use the word croak to give it some little sense of levity. When that happens, you leave the ego behind. Unless it is so strong and so in control that it draws you back into physicality immediately. And that does happen for some beings. But for most of you, they're sort of walking the middle road of attachment to things, a few little addictions, but you are loving and kind to the best of your ability. You're sort of walking that middle road. You are relieved of the ego mind when you pass over. But what's happening at this time is that the ego mind is being supremely activated to keep you alive. So when you're looking at the news streams and you're looking at the information that's coming through, when you feel fear, it is always to do with bodily survival. It means you have had your ego triggered. You're not in a, we will say, connected spiritual place. You are in a physical place, material place. And you will know this by the feelings that you have. So we go back to this guidance system that you have. It is constant and it is impeccable. That means you always know when you feel good. You always know when you feel bad. There is no wondering. If someone says, do you want to go out with me on a date? You will either have a resounding yes or a resounding no. There may be some thinking that kicks in after the fact, but there will be an immediate answer. You will know how you feel about something. Would you like to eat raw oysters? Somebody will know exactly how they feel. Yes, I'd love to eat raw oysters. No, don't want to eat raw oysters. No, one thing in me wants to eat raw oysters. This is your guidance system. It is designed to help you discern and feel your way through life. You have not been abandoned in separation. Yes, you have come into separation. You feel as if God has abandoned you, but in actual fact, you all abandoned God and you decided to come into this individuation scenario, this 3D physical scenario, so that you could do what you wanted. However, Spirit is very, very kind and loving, and it gave you this invisible umbilical cord that connects you to the truth. It connects you to source. It connects you to love. It connects you to the divine. And that divine source is at the frequency of love. And if you have to make a decision, or if you're focusing on something and you are out of accord with that divine frequency, you will feel bad. And the further away you get from that divine frequency, the worse you will feel. So what's happening for many of you now, as you are seeing material things being taken away from you, perhaps your jobs, your income is being cut, your physical restrictions are increasing, you are getting further and further away from source energy in the sense of what is being asked of you. But it is your interpretation of it that will really resonate within the feeling self. So as we've said before, if somebody builds a brick wall in front of you, don't stand there looking at the brick wall going, I can't go anywhere. You've still got 180 degrees of potential movement behind you. Turn around. The same thing is happening with your feelings. When you hit a brick wall of feeling, I don't feel good, I'm scared that I'm going to be in poverty, I'm scared that I'm going to lose everything I value, you are going to feel terrible. That is like an emotional brick wall that you have hit there, but it's a thing, it's a thought, it is a belief, an idea. What is happening is going to devastate me. What is happening is going to ruin my life. We want you to understand that the bad feelings are telling you that you're looking at the brick wall. So we want you to pivot, turn around and go, okay, if I'm not allowed to do this, what can I do? So for example, you used to like going out to restaurants all the time, but now the restaurants are closing. Perhaps you can't afford to go because you don't have so much disposable income. We say pivot, turn around, go and buy some nice fresh produce and healthy, lean, organically grown meats and cook yourself a beautiful meal. And as you're sitting at that beautiful meal, say to yourself, I pivoted. I couldn't do what I always used to, but I turned it into something good. And here I am eating this beautiful meal, happy, content, saying, this meal cost me $20. At the restaurant, I would have paid $80 for it. Then you will begin to feel good. And that feeling good will mean that you are in alignment. That's your guidance system from your guides and teachers saying, yes, well done. Feeling good means your guides and teachers are saying, yes, well done. Keep doing things like that. So when you see what is going to transpire over the coming days and weeks, we want you to feel the answer. When you look at it and feel frightened, or you feel judgmental or scared or concerned or angry, you are feeling negative feedback, which means you're off track. You're looking at it the wrong way. Turn and pivot and say to yourself, is there another way I can look at this? I think this is happening, but I feel bad. Perhaps I can ask to be shown what is really going on behind the scenes. Because as we have said, you are seeing about 5% of reality, just like the iceberg above the water. There is 95% of what is going on you are not seeing on the news, you are not hearing about it, you have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. So to try and come up with a future scenario as it relates to your life with that 5% of information is pointless. It is a waste of your time, and when the ego mind does not have enough information to come up with a safety scenario, that thing that will keep you alive, it will become very anxious and it will become very frightened because it is trying to solve a problem that it doesn't have enough information to solve. So this is a time of staying in presence. This is a time of pivoting when someone puts a brick wall in front of you. This is a time of meticulously listening to how you are feeling. And there will be those of you that say, I am angry and I have a right to be angry. What we say to you is anger is fear's protector, fear's bodyguard, if you will. When you feel frightened, you're going to lose something, someone's going to take something from you, you're going to be restricted, or someone's going to hurt you. Anger arises to elicit a physical reaction that will keep your body safe. So again, this is a very, very primitive reaction to something that the ego perceives as a danger. So be aware of these lower frequency reactions that are going to be very, very common in many people. This does not mean that you're not a good spiritual student. It's a great opportunity to learn to pivot, turn and go, I'm going to look in the other direction because what I'm watching is upsetting me or causing me to become concerned about my survival. What can I do that is What can I do that feels good? What can I do that contributes to my actual life? You have to remember, you are in a society where all of the information that you are seeing is coming through a screen, including this. It is coming through a screen. And as you know from your movies like Avatar, for example, an entire world is created with dragons and giants and new flora and fauna, and it all looks exceedingly real. We would say, as a closing comment in this video, that you are foolish to think that some of those technologies are not being used to bring forth images to motivate you to do certain things, to motivate you to do feel certain things. Video is easily manipulated. Think of the movie Avatar and the beautiful, beautiful, realistic, terrifying, glorious images that you see. You feel all those feelings when you're watching that movie because it looks so real. There is a lack of discernment in many of you these days, thinking that what you're seeing on the screens is absolutely true because you have been told it is. Again, we refer back to the iceberg. Only 5% of what is going on is being shown to you. And even in that 5%, there is an interpretation factor depending on your conditioning, depending on how you've been raised and what you've been taught is good or bad. So basically what we're asking all of you to do is step back a little bit from being so engaged and involved in what you are perceiving as the storyline, and understand that more shall be revealed, more shall be revealed, and it will not be what you are expecting. You have, in many cases, been led down the garden path, and there is going to be a veering off into a completely different scenario that you were not expecting because you were not led that way. Become more discerning about the images you see, become more discerning about the stories you hear, and understand that all of the buttons that are being pushed in you have been put there by the people who are pushing them. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I'll speak to you again soon. All right.